Okay, so we're going to have a look at our bass now, and this was the hardest bit to get right, um, mainly for the programming and the actual sound. I looked through some of the some different virtual synths to try and get a nice bass sound, and the only one that was working really was Trillion, but obviously everyone doesn't have that, so I thought I'd make a bass patch myself, and it actually sounds pretty decent. We've actually got two. We've got one using a finger bass, just plucking with my finger, and then the other one's using a pick. And I think the finger bass one works better. And I've included the presets here, so you should be able to just load these in. You may have to do a search for the files to link them up, but we'll see what happens when I drop this in here. See if it's working. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be working fine. And what you may just need to do is do like a search in your file section and direct it to this finger bass here. So we've got a decent sounding bass. And what we need to do is match it to our chords. So we played I think it was a C, a D, and a G. So what I'm going to do first is just play a sort of rhythm based on the individual notes, or the single straight notes, and then what we can do is go back in and sort of edit and add sort of inflections and different things that'll give it that sort of funkier vibe. So at this point I want to try and keep the rhythmical pattern pretty simple, so we can add all those different wee elements in afterwards. So we've got our basic rhythm in, and I'm just going to sort of quantize that a bit. I've got my quantize set to like a small percentage. It just means you can sort of hit quantize and it'll quantize it a bit, and then you can hit it a bit more and it'll quantize it a bit more, and you can sort of still keep some of the live element in if you want, and then sort of quantize it more as you go on. So what we're going to do is add like tiny wee sort of notes in here. Some are just going to be as if it's like a quick stab of the bass, and some are going to be like octaves. So what we can do is grab some of these, and we only really need to do it around one sort of section, because we can then sort of duplicate our extra elements and add them to the next sections. So I'm going to try and find somewhere to put some octaves. And this bit here is pretty free. I want to get something that sounds. So there's sort of decent enough octaves there. We'll maybe try one at the start as well. Not really working. Try a lower. We can try notes that are sort of a whole step down as well. Yeah, so I quite like that actually. That works well. Just a step down. And then what I want is some other sort of tiny accent notes. And you can do these just by going into your note and really shortening it. And we'll add a couple of those in as well. It's really just a matter of sort of trial and error to try and get some notes that work together. I'm going to shorten these ones and make these a bit more of just sort of an accent note. And I think we could probably squeeze one in here as well. So now we've got all our sort of accent notes, we can actually select them all at once and then just copy them across to our other parts. Just make sure they're lining up in the same positions. That looks about right. And I'll just add another accent note there right at the end of the bar to give it a bit more of a sort of lift just before it sort of loops round. And what I'm going to do is just take out the accent note at the start of the first 8 bars, just to sort of, so it sort of builds up through the track. So we're not having our accent note there, but we are in the sort of second. So we can add a bit of EQ now to our bass. We've already got a bit of compression and EQ on there built into the preset, and we can sort of dial it in with these two controls. So there we go, that's our bass sorted. In the next video we're going to take a look at adding some pianos.